Okay, I have confirmed. We have not made the headset mistake again.
Okay, that's great. There's some part of me that worries about tapping on the microphone. I'm like, am I damaging? Microphones are weird technology. Picking up vibrations.
Yeah,
strange. I guess. Yeah, you don't give a fuck. All right. Let me see.
I mean, you could also be lying to me and I wouldn't know any better.
I mean, that's what they do. It's a little piece of magnet.
It's a vibe checker.
Picks up vibe checker that picks up your vibrations from your voice.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1, mark. I saw you turn your head away, so I'd slowed down the rhythm a little bit.
Oh, yeah. No, I just ate a big bowl of spaghetti, so my throat's a little crusty somehow.
I thought you were going to say so you had to burp.
No. No, the tomato, the acidity is disintegrating my throat as we speak.
I ate some Japanese spaghetti. Some ramen.
Oh, okay. I was like, because they do make spaghetti in Japan and it is a little bit different. So I thought that you meant you actually, like, it was actual, like, Japanese spaghetti, but.
Morgan, if we moved to Japan and opened up a Mexican restaurant, do you think we could pass it as authentic?
Do you think, now I don't want to dox ourselves here, but we are both white. So white. We are both.
No one's ever seen us before.
About as white as you can get. So
yeah.
I mean, here's another thing though. Apparently, cheese, an important part of at least Americanized Mexican food. Cheese is so important. Apparently, cheese, like certain types of cheese in Japan, is hella expensive because I think you have to like import it and it's like costly. Yeah. Like a Domino's pizza in Japan is very expensive. Like $18.
They have to import the whole pizza.
Yeah. They come over on like pre-frozen.
Yeah, it's coming over on a boat.
It's a Domino's delivery boat.
It better be here in 30 minutes. Right?
Yeah. It's free.
What I'm trying to say is that like someone from Japan could totally come over to America, open up a Chinese restaurant, and people would be none the wiser. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, again, not to dox ourselves, but the area in which, at least the area in which I live, you go into a Chinese restaurant and everyone there is Mexican. Like everyone there like running it is Mexican.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, people that, you know what I mean?
It's good food. Like it's not like they make it work. Like
we could just say we're from Los Angeles and they might be like, oh, that's close enough. And then they would take our white people tacos.
White people taco night. Yeah.
White people taco night. Yeah. I would have to, every time I visit my homeland, I would have to just bring a bunch of materials with me, apparently. Cheese and maybe taco seasoning, Ortega taco seasoning. Yeah.
That's all your luggage is full of in the airport is just bricks of Velveeta. Of all things, like the queso Velveeta.
I could call it Mexican sushi. Do you think that would work? Just a taco?
Okay, so since you said Mexican sushi, because sushi is, I think, like the word itself means like fish on rice, right? Or like raw fish on rice. Isn't that what it means?
Oh, okay.
So you can't just make whatever and be like Mexican sushi. Like it has to incorporate like.
It's like when people in gaming call a video game the Dark Souls of blank.
Yes.
Like, maybe sushi has lost all meaning at this point.
I mean, I guess you could argue. So, like, sushi, some sushi rolls, it's like a seaweed roll. You could argue that a burrito is a similar vehicle.
I know, it's similar. I was thinking like a rolled up taco.
Or like an enchilada, a taquito.
Ooh.
The tortilla takes the place of the seaweed wrapper.
Yeah. Yeah. What if we offered an alternative to use the nori? And just nori with ground beef, cheddar cheese.
That's so nasty.
And other toppings.
I'm telling you right now, the grease from the ground beef would make that nori so soggy. And like, it would rehydrate it. So it would be like a wet lump of seaweed.
Oh, man. Yeah. Welcome to Analog Stick, a PlayStation 2 podcast. Right. The podcasts were normally every month. We cover a game pretty much every month up until this month. And we discuss its, all the shit related to it. We release a new episode on the 2nd of every month. So subscribe or follow if you'd like to stay up to date with the show and our ever-evolving plan to invade Japan with our unauthentic cuisine. Inauthentic is the word I was looking for. Please support the podcast by leaving a review or rating on whatever platform you like to listen on. You can find us on podcast platforms and YouTube as Analog Stick. I'm your host, Clayton. Joined as always by my childhood rival, Morgan. I couldn't be fucked to change that. So it's the same thing that it was from Kingdom Hearts.
I'm going to kick your ass. Square up.
Okay.
I hope that's also not what I said for the Kingdom Hearts episode.
I don't know what you said.
Okay.
I think there was whatever. No housekeeping. I guess housekeeping would be we're not doing Neopets in the Darkest Fairy this month because I've been strapped for time. So we're entering our first episode in a filler arc.
It's the beach episode.
This is the beach episode. There may be more beach episodes in the future, but yeah, I have zero plan coming into this episode. So for those of you who enjoy the random bullshit, you're welcome. For those of you who don't, I guess try again next week.
Yeah.
Every month.
Next month.
Next month. But yeah, I mean, you been up to anything?
Okay, so we did you want to do some of the discussion questions? Because we did write those down, but they're not in this document.
They certainly aren't.
Yeah.
I don't know. You recently mentioned quarter life crises.
Yes.
The other day. And I feel like a quarter life crisis is maybe how you could describe my past month.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been a bit of turmoil. I'm rethinking a lot of things about my life, and those rethinkings have taken up a lot of time. So that's my excuse, I guess. I have not played too many games. I was sick for a while, so I watched Lord of the Rings, and now I'm here. So
was that your first time watching Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I watched the extended cuts in one sitting because I was just fucked up. Couldn't do anything.
Why? Do you mind me asking why you couldn't do anything?
I don't know what I had. I thought I had a cold. Okay. Then I thought I maybe just had allergies, like bad allergies.
Okay.
And then I think I lean now back towards a cold, maybe a sinus infection as well. Because I was like kind of like running a fever. I think we have a bad fever detecting tool. So sometimes it turned back thermometer. We have a bad thermometer. Sometimes the reading says fever. Sometimes the reading says not fever. So,
interesting.
Whatever that means. My coworker had lent me the extended cuts of Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Like 3 months ago, and it had been sitting there like next to my TV for that entire 3-month span. And I went into work basically every Monday being asked, so did you get around to watching any of them? And for the longest time, the most I could say is that I'd watched the first 10 minutes and then stopped. Because I was like, gotta do something else. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Can't do this. I'm not a big movie watcher. I don't know. My favorite way to consume a show is just having it on in the room while I'm doing something that I can pay tiny amounts of attention to it with. Like,
that makes sense.
I don't know, doing chores or something.
Maybe you should get into knitting.
Yeah, maybe.
Crochet.
Right now, my hobby is cable management. So
oh, God. Okay.
Just constantly rewrapping cables for my fucking monster CRT cart.
Have you tried wrapping all the cables together and making a sweater out of them?
That would be pretty dope.
Yeah. What is crochet if not its own kind of cable management?
That'd be a very expensive sweater.
It would be fair and horribly uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Drafty.
And maybe a fire hazard.
Yes.
But yeah, I watched all Lord of the Rings. I don't know, Morgan, have you seen Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Yeah. Who hasn't? That's probably a better question.
I also did the same thing. I didn't consume the extended edition, but I was at my dad's house for the weekend and watched the whole trilogy in one sitting. And do you ever you ever like watch something for so long that you just become completely engrossed in it, and then when it ends, it's like you've forgotten who you are, and you're just like, what am I anymore?
I kind of had that. And I was like, it was kind of the perfect thing to do whenever I was that level of sick, because I didn't want to play a video game. I didn't want to like read or do anything. I just wanted to sit there and have something happen. See, sometimes what I like about movies is that they progress without my input. Like,
it is kind of nice, yeah.
You know, like I could be playing a game, and if I stop playing the game, nothing happens. But if I'm watching a movie and I dip in and out of consciousness like I was doing when I was sick, it just keeps going. It's like, okay, cool, something new's happening here. I was probably most out of it for Fellowship, so I missed a lot of important setup. But
okay, that's the one that I remember best. The other two, they start to like meld together in my brain.
Yeah.
So
I mean, honestly, they all feel very cohesive.
yes.
I feel like the one thing that you can be like, this is a different movie, is every time you see Gollum, because Gollum looks progressively better.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone else looks the exact goddamn same. Like, and I was like, what's going on? Like, why do they look the same? Like, did they just like film this
once? Like
they filmed them all within a year period, and then they did pickups for like a couple years following sporadically.
Okay.
I guess as needed per movie.
But
yeah, they filmed the majority of it, I think within like 12 months or 13 months. I can't
That is
really
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's just an insane thing to get like any studio to be convinced to do. It feels like especially then, like, hey, we're gonna make this fucking nerd movie. And I want to make all three of them at the same time. And I also want to make like the real version of them, like 4 hours each. Do you think I can do that? I want to do it all at once. Can I do that?
I think sure, I remember it first because they also, I don't know if the one that you were lended came with this, but there's something called the appendices where it's like a big ass multiple disc set of like just special features just behind the scenes stuff. And I think I recall in one of them, Peter Jackson was like, yeah, so I wanted to do a trilogy, and at first they told me they would only let me make two movies. And I think he went ahead and wrote the scripts for 3 movies and was like, here's what I got. And they were like, yeah, okay, we can make that work.
Have you read the books?
I tried. Oh,
okay.
My God, I tried. There's so fucking much. It's so much to deal with.
They're like the original, and not the original, but like a cornerstone for like nerddom as it is today, right?
Yes. Yeah, I would say so. And Tolkien, I think, was, I guess, a nerd for like old Nordic culture.
Ooh,
and like old English literature, like old English, like Beowulf and whatever else. Beowulf is the only one I can think of at the moment. But yeah, so I think he kind of wanted to emulate like things that he liked about that culture and like the history. And you know, he was like trying to make Middle Earth seem like as real of a place or like as dense of a place world building wise as possible. But which is cool. I respect the hell out of that. I respect the hell out of his work. No problems there. But when you try and read them, for me at least, it's like the pacing is fucking wild. Frodo gets the ring, right? And then it's like, oh, we have to leave because the ring wraiths are after us. He gets in the books, he gets the ring and does not leave the Shire for like 50 more years. He's just like chilling. He's like, yeah, and he just like has the ring the whole time, and he's like, I should probably do something about that at some point.
Well, that's interesting.
And then like the Council of Elrond or whatever, where they decide to form the Fellowship and then like go on the journey or whatever.
Oh yeah.
There is pages and pages, from what I remember, of elvish poetry. So it's in a language that I can't understand. It just keeps going on and on. It's like,
interesting.
Wow.
That's
like,
a bold move.
It's bold. It was, I think, obviously revolutionary. Again, respect the hell out of it. I just don't have the bandwidth to engage with it in the way that it should be engaged with.
I get you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some things where it's like, I experience this all the time with like, I don't know, games, movies to an extent as well, where it's like, here is an absolutely like pinnacle game for this time, like inspired all these other things. And I'm just like, cool. I can't really play it anymore. Like my expectations for what I want from a game have changed so much that it's like, it's hard to go back and play, I don't know, some PS1 games, even like NES games, especially, where it's, I don't know, it's too much. Sometimes I have to be like in a very specific mood for some of this like older stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Final Fantasy VII. I don't know. That's one of them where it's like, I want this to be as impressive to me now. And it's an impossible ask, but I want it to be as impressive to me now as it was to people at the time. And I just can't get that. So it's hard to like push through some of this.
Okay. Interesting. Because I did play Final Fantasy on my Switch probably a couple years ago at this point. And again, didn't beat it. I got to the snowboarding section.
What would you say what percentage through the game do you think that is?
Maybe 60 to 70%, okay. I think.
Around 3/4 to a half?
Yeah.
Half to 3/4. Okay.
Yeah. And like, I mean, I was impressed with it, I think, or like I enjoyed it. Like I wasn't like, oh, this is so archaic that it is like a pain. Like there wasn't any, I didn't have any issue. I mean, aside from some of the mini games where I was like, why did they make this a mini game? Like,
that's still a thing in the new one, right? Like there's still a ton of mini games, aren't there?
Yeah, actually. So, okay. I know I mentioned this to you ahead of time. I just didn't know when in the episode it was going to come up. So, speaking of games, this was
my organic way of bringing it up.
Yeah. I guess the main game that we're probably going to talk about for this episode, depending on where the conversation goes, is I just beat the Final Fantasy VII remake this weekend and then moved on to Rebirth. So I'm like probably 4 or 5 hours into Rebirth at the moment.
Okay.
And the remake has some similar mini games to the original, but also some that I think are different that they just like added in. I don't know. The remake is so fascinating to me because the pacing is so wildly off. Like in the original, you probably spend like 6 hours or so, maybe 6 to 8 hours in the opening city in Midgar, and then you like leave, and then you get to go do open world stuff. The whole game takes probably like 20 something hours to beat, and is just Midgar stuff.
Do you feel like that's warranted or unwarranted? I mean, I know that there's some pacing problems that I've heard of. I know the sewer section sucks, apparently.
The sewer section sucks. Huh. Interesting. I don't know.
People said that was one of the more drawn out segments, but or backtracky sort of, but I'm speaking from what I've heard because I have not played a remake.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. In the, I don't want to spoil too much, I guess, but in the opening of 7, there's like the power plant reactors, right? You blow up one of them in the opening, and then you go blow up another one. And in between that, there's like a whole bunch of extra side stuff. There's a few, I would say maybe 3 pauses in kind of like the storytelling where you're just sort of turned loose and you get to go do side quests. I would say my problems with it was the level design is so linear.
Oh yeah.
Just like they're like, even when you're turned loose to like go do side quests, all of like the navigating you do is through these very confined narrow spaces through the city. Like you don't get to like the exploration isn't as like open. as I thought it could have been.
Is it open in the original?
No.
Or is it? Okay,
It's
yeah.
also
I was
linear
gonna
there
say,
too.
yeah, like Final Fantasy X was pretty darn linear.
Yeah.
Opens up at really the end, right? I mean, that's kind of when it opens up. You can kind of go around and
It
do
does.
stuff.
And Final Fantasy 13 is the same way. And I love Final Fantasy 13. I love Final Fantasy 10. And so it's hard for me to like pinpoint why exactly I had some problems with it in Remake. I think part of it was because the amount of times that your gameplay gets interrupted by something is just like fucking crazy. It's off the wall, man. So like they tried to do this thing where they like disguise loading screens by having you walk through like like having to like squeeze into a really tight space and like slowly,
the classic PS4 move,
slowly shimmy. And it's like, just fucking put in a loading screen. Like it got to the point where it was like annoying to like have to like sit there and watch Cloud and whoever just like, or like you would have to like duck under some debris and like squat and like waddle your way through. And it's like, oh my God, can we just make it move? I don't care if you have to give me a loading screen for several seconds. I would rather that than like whatever this is.
To that point, if they did do the loading screen, that means that in future iterations of like the PS5 or more powerful hardware, that would be sped up.
Yes.
But because it is a walkthrough thing, which they did because the PS4's like crappy hard drive at the time.
Yeah.
But now, we're stuck with that.
Right.
For every iteration of the game. Yeah.
That is part of the game now. I would say like, I want to say that the game is very polished in terms of like visual quality, in terms of the combat, in terms of the story. I would say like everything there was enjoyable. My complaint though with the combat, specifically in boss fights, because I think the highlight of Final Fantasy gameplay is the boss fights, right? Because that's the like where you use your abilities and stuff, and it's like a boss is almost kind of like a puzzle, and you have to use your abilities to figure out like how to approach it, and they still work that way, even though the combat isn't really turn-based anymore. It's more like actiony or whatever.
It's an option to have it turn-based though, isn't it?
So I haven't tried the turn-based option, but I've heard, or something in Rebirth made it sound like it was more like your characters would just move around automatically, and the only thing you would have control over is when they use their abilities or whatever. Which is kind of, but like not like the classic. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of feels wild to think that they would try to design the game around two very different core combat systems.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it was borked in some way like that.
Yeah. And I haven't played the classic mode, so I can't really speak to how well it works. I guess I'll have to try that. But I would say a major complaint I had about the boss design in the game was there was like, I don't think this happened in every fight, but towards the end where it's like I'm getting into like a flow, like I know how combat works. I'm really good at figuring out like what abilities I need to use, and like I'm like coordinating with my party really well. I'm like, that like satisfying feeling of like, oh, I'm getting good at this. I'm succeeding at this. Cool. They do this obnoxious thing where like the boss fights are divided into phases, and between each phase they halt all the action so that a little cutscene can play. And in combat, how that happens is you'll like say you just, I don't know if this is gonna make sense to you, but say you just like staggered a boss, which is like you've gotten them into a state where like you're doing like all this like extra damage and like really like laying it on. Their health bar will suddenly like gray out and you stop doing damage so that it can stop everything, so that it can show you the cutscene of the boss moving into the next phase. So like it does not matter like if you had them staggered, how well you were doing. It's like if you hit this point on their health bar, boop, sorry, you don't get to do damage now. We're gonna pull you out of all the action and make you watch this like short little scene and then put you back in, and then you have to start over again. And it's like, just let me kill him. Just let me go. Like, we don't need to do this. Like,
just be a game.
Yes.
Stop being a movie. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. That is my absolute main complaint. And especially in the final boss, there's like sort of like a gauntlet you go through where you have to like fight a whole bunch of like, I guess, bosses or whatever, and then you get to the final boss. And it was so frustrating because every goddamn time you would stagger one of the bosses, it would pull the camera off of your characters, off the boss, to go look at something happening in the distance and be like, oh, a new damage phase has started, you can do this thing now. And it's like, can you just let me do it? Like, I know what's going on. You don't need to keep showing me this over and over. It was like legitimately pissing me off.
Does that continue into Rebirth, or is that?
I don't think I've gotten
not
far
reached
enough
a boss fight.
well, I have, but
Okay.
it was like a tutorial, so I was
Okay,
already
yeah.
getting interrupted by tutorial stuff, so I wasn't really like mad about it.
Mhm.
But yeah, by the
Do you
time you
think-
get to the final boss, it's like, just let me go.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that you will reach the snowboarding section in Rebirth? Do you know?
See, the thing that happens before the snowboarding section, I think, happens in Rebirth, so I don't know.
Okay.
We will see.
All right.
But shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh, so speaking of, so I guess my major complaint about the remake was that it was too like movie-ified, I guess. It was
Sure.
too
Yeah.
cutscene focused instead of being just like a game. So I wanted your opinion on like how do you feel about that sort of element of game design?
I feel like I was thinking about this, or maybe talking to someone about like very cinematic games recently, but I don't have a problem with it. Some of my favorite games are basically interactive movies. Like Detroit Become Human, I think is awesome. It's just a choose your own adventure movie, but I find that like really novel and intriguing. So, I mean, I guess there was no expectation that when I load up Detroit Become Human that I was like, oh, what do you mean there's no shooting in this game? Like, why don't I get to shoot anybody or anything like that? So I kind of get that. Like if Mario, I don't know, if I completed a Mario level and it made me watch a 30-minute cutscene, I think that would be a bridge too far. So
yeah.
I think that there is like a level of like knowing your place. Like, are you more of a gamey game or are you going to be a cinematic game? Like, Last of Us, I think, tries to like toe the line more so than other games. And I know some people don't like that, but I guess to me, I'm coming into The Last of Us not ever getting upset that I'm watching like a 12-minute cutscene or something like that. It's like I'm kind of here for the narrative over the game to an extent. I don't know. I can see that being more frustrating in Final Fantasy if you're coming to it for more of a traditional experience, maybe, and getting this kind of cinematic, like half movie game. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it because it's hard because it's like, yeah, I am definitely here for the story and like the character development and like the character interaction. I loved all of that stuff. I loved watching that stuff. And so I guess it wasn't so much like the narrative cutscenes that bugged me.
Yeah,
It
I see what you're saying.
like I said, it was like the shimmying, the waddling.
Yeah.
And like the boss stuff that held it back for me. So I guess it's like
that's bleeding too much into the gameplay.
Yeah. Or it's like, okay, with when we're in a gameplay section, I am getting into a flow state. And if you take me out of the flow state, I'm going to get a little mad at you.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we're in the middle of like intense action. Do not do that to me.
I get that.
Yeah.
So what kind of spurred you on to playing this? I know that Rebirth just came out, but you're not usually one to play games as they come out.
Yeah.
Hence the show.
I know.
But
yes. Yeah.
I
I got Remake like right after I got a PS5.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had like my shitty setup and my PS5 was not part of that setup. And if it's not easily accessible for me to play, then I just kind of don't touch it. And so I didn't touch my PS5 for months and months and months. And then my husband recently set up the PS5 in our living room and got a handy controller charger to sit on the...
is it the official one?
I actually don't know.
Is it the one that looks like a tiny PS5?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. That one, controller chargers have changed my life. Like, I refuse to not use them anymore. I hate cables. So it's just like, I can just set this here, and when it's ready, it is charged. Like, the place that it goes charges it.
That's so great. Handy. Yes. Yeah, and that is on one of our end tables by our couch. So now for me to play the PS5, I can go sit in my living room where I'm happy to be and pull the controller off the charger, and bam, like I'm there.
We're there.
Yeah. And I had heard, I was interested in eventually finishing Remake. And then I'd heard really, really good things about Rebirth. Like, all the reviews seem to be good. Everyone seems to be enjoying it. And I was like, I want to
be happy too.
Yeah, I want to be happy too. And I knew it was going to be like more of an open world type of experience compared to Remake. And I was like, I still want the story from Remake. So my husband and I would like he would play a section of it on his save file. And then I would play the same section on my save file. Like, we've been like going back and forth a little bit. And like giving each other pointers. And it's been like a fun thing to do together, actually. So yeah, that
seems fun.
Has been up.
I know. I think I brought this up to you at one point. Because, it wouldn't be an episode of Analog Stick without some like home decor, interior design segment. I've brought this up to you before. I think you were repulsed at the time, but I wanted to bring it up again. Would you ever, hear me out, consider 2 TVs in a room? I know it's crazy.
No, it's not crazy though.
No, it's okay.
So the thing was, at my dad's, when I would go stay at his house for the weekend, he had the big screen TV, and then I had a little TV on an end table that I had a chair sitting like directly in front of. Like, I was like 2 feet away from the screen.
Yeah.
And he would watch movies, and then I would play games on my little TV. And that was just how we sort of like coexisted in the living room together. So that is not anything outlandish to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who I brought it up to. Maybe it was like Cody or someone.
Probably, yeah, maybe someone else.
Was like repulsed by it.
Oh.
Whoever I brought it up to before was repulsed by it.
Was it Sage?
Maybe it was Sage. I don't know.
Sounds like something
I
you
think
might care
actually
about.
It might have been Sage.
Yeah.
I was like,
no.
Hey, you guys are both gamers.
Yeah.
How about 2 TVs? I don't know. I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to doing anything dumb that is functional to me.
Right. Yes.
It's my goddamn house.
Right.
Put up 3 TVs just to spite everybody. That'd be weird though, playing a story game right side by side. It's like I'm imagining Sage finishing a section, waiting to trigger a cutscene, and you're like lagging behind or something like that. I don't know. You start the cutscene at different times. I don't know.
Yeah, because then you would get like spoilers as you're trying to do the thing to get to the cutscene.
Hang on, I'm 4 seconds behind.
Yeah.
You gotta block out. Yeah. That could be fun though. Have you guys? I feel like we've ditched our friend group has like ditched multiplayer games entirely.
Yes. I just I can't justify it anymore. Like the time.
Well, I just don't think it's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like they are more demanding, so I do get the time complaint. But like, there was a brief period of time where we were playing Overwatch 2, and it's like, yeah, we're making it work right now, but it's just not fun to me anymore. You got something to share?
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm like sitting here like trying not to bust out laughing. Zach just texted me out of the blue, no context, no premise, no nothing. And it just says, "What do you think the 5th council race would/will be?" And I'm like, brother, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
wait. What is he talking about? 5th council race.
What do you think the 5th council race
must be Mass Effect, right?
Would/will be. But there's Turians, Solarians, Asari, humans. Oh, the 5th council race. I guess that is Mass Effect. Okay.
You're like, that's only 3, holding up 4 fingers.
Yeah. He said, sorry, I meant to add in Mass Effect somewhere in that message, but my brain is mush.
I was kind of hoping he was going to say like, hey, you want to play
Something else?
Overwatch or something like that?
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
yeah.
No, anyway. Just justifying the time sink of Overwatch. And again, sorry, were you talking about the repetitive nature of it where it's like,
Well,
you're not...
It's demanding. Like,
Yes.
It's hard to casually play a multiplayer game, it feels like, today. Because, I don't know. It feels like they were different back in the day. They were very stagnant, you know?
Yeah.
You load onto Modern Warfare 2 at the beginning of its life, and the end of its life, it's the same game, minus a bunch of hackers flying around the map and stuff. Or like Left 4 Dead 2 or something like that, where it's like, every time I hop into Left 4 Dead 2, I know that I'm in for the same game that it was like 10 years ago. And I like that. I like that for some games. Not saying every game needs to be stagnant, but like Overwatch and like other stuff like that, it feels like each one of the like multiplayer games that are big right now wants you to just play that like entirely. It wants you to dedicate all of your game and time to that. Destiny's kind of like that too. It's very demanding. I don't know. And it's not like it's just like the battle pass stuff and like weekly time limited events and things, and it's all like meaningless, but at the same time it does feel demanding. I don't know.
Right. Well, and also like I think when you have something that is actively being like tweaked, like the balance changes and everything, where there's like an evolving meta, it's some would say that figuring out the meta or adapting to the meta is like part of the game. Like that's maybe for some people part of what makes it enjoyable, but also it's like, okay, like let's say one season there's like this meta and I have a lot of fun doing that. Like that's it's fun for me. Maybe it's like a hero that I like that's like favored by the meta or whatever. And then the next season they're nerfed and it's like, okay, well now I can't have that fun experience back anymore. Like it's gone.
Yeah. Or maybe it just completely changed. Like,
yeah,
they reworked heroes multiple times. And it's just like, and even for the sequel, it's like, oh, now these characters are completely fucking different, and the game is completely different, and it's 5v5 and all this stuff, and it's like, cool. I guess I don't know. I feel like Overwatch 1 was enough for me.
Yeah,
like,
and like
looking
the time,
back at it, it's like, I don't know.
The time in our life was probably optimal for that.
It was
being the Overwatch time. I am not in that season anymore.
No, I'm not. That was the most Christian thing I've ever heard you say. I'm not in the season.
I know. I'm not, it's just not the season.
Not the season for Overwatch. Yeah. I don't know. Like Overwatch 1 had moments. There were moments where I'm like, this is the perfect multiplayer game for me. I'm like, I know that like it was often disagreed, but there were genuinely moments where I'm like, this game is perfectly fucking balanced. I don't know which patch it was, but there was like I want to say like year 2 or 3, like around there. It was before GOATs and before like Roll Q and stuff like that, which I think Roll Q was like a fine addition, but I don't know. I'm like, I feel like I can genuinely be good with every hero. Like I'm not like, I can't pick someone and be like an absolute hindrance. It was probably when like Symmetra got her first rework to be more useful.
Do you mean the shield generator?
I don't,
because that was a nightmare.
I think it might have been the shield generator, honestly.
Oh my god, that was a nightmare.
It was. But it was her turn to be a nightmare.
Yeah, I do remember doing some scummy games of Symmetra and getting hate mail for it.
No, wait, no, not shield generator. I think it was with her wide shield.
Okay.
Her barrier, not the generator. Yeah, the shield generator, the Torb turret thing. That one was a little messy. That was so
fucked up when they did
that. What you guys doing over there, Jeff? Jeff Kaplan, what you think?
Jeff, what the fuck?
Jeff, this is yeah. I don't know. That was a weird time. I say this because I made a mistake. I decided to I've been hearing talk about it. I'm like, everyone's like, this game's great.
Oh,
I
boy.
decided to buy Helldivers.
Okay.
And I'm like, people are loving this game. People are bringing up Left 4 Dead a lot. Little PvE action. And I'm like, okay, that seems more my speed. Hop into it. I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling a little sick. I'm gonna pick this bad boy up. He's 40 bones. That's reasonable. That's not a $70 game or anything. Just hop in, buy it on PS5, go to play it, just doesn't open. I'm like, that's weird. And I'm like, oh, I need PlayStation Plus.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? It's available on PC. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hop on the PlayStation Store on like my computer. Be like, can I get a return? See if I can talk to anyone. So they like walk you through it. It's like, you know, blah blah blah, trying to make you not do it, and then hop into a chat. It's like, okay, you can get to it because I'm like, you know, they can see. I bought the game 2 seconds ago. I tried to open it. They'll see that I have like 2 seconds in the game or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, I didn't know I needed PlayStation Plus. You know, it's like kind of confusing right now because a lot of games don't. Like any free game, I think doesn't need PS Plus, but any paid game does, which I completely forgot was a thing.
Yeah.
And I don't have any subscription because I don't play online, as we mentioned. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna hop on here, wait for an associate. Wait time is like 500 minutes. I'm like, all right, you know what? Yeah, what is it? $7 a month? Sure, I'll just $7. So now I'm $47 into this, and played it for like one match. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Why can't we have menus anymore? Like, why does every menu have to be like a hub? Like, give me a little menu, play game, customize character, settings, credits. I don't know why credits would be there, but
no, sorry. So what do you mean by a hub? Walk me through.
So
what that
imagine,
looks like.
You know, when we were playing Destiny.
Oh God. Oh no. Yes.
Yeah, it's like okay, I got to go to the tower, except your tower is like your ship. And then you gotta like walk up to a hub and you see a bald man at some like space console thing, and you gotta like
you need
select
this currency.
No, it's not that bad.
Okay.
It's not like the RPG stuff. It's just like I don't want to walk around to like basically do what a menu would do.
Yeah, that's fair. But the
I like that this episode is kind of us giving
whining
about fairly minor things and extremely popular games.
Yes.
Like, I don't feel safe right now. Someone's going to come after me. But yeah, I don't know. It's not for me. This multiplayer game thing. Because it's like I hopped into a mission and it's like, do a thing. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. Granted, I was a little messed up on some NyQuil at the time. So.
Oh boy. You weren't all the way there, huh?
I was probably not all the way there. I probably just didn't need to be doing anything at the moment. Probably should have slept, but here we are. Yep. And still have it. So a solid waste of $40 from my perspective, 47. So yeah, that was fun.
This is wildly off topic, but speaking of
That's what
being
this episode's
on,
for. Go ahead.
Speaking of being on some form of medicine and being like not all the way there. So this is a little bit personal. So I had my first ever visit to the emergency room. Like, I mean, I've been to the hospital for like other people, like to visit other people, but I've never like gone for myself, like because I was like having an issue. But I had some incredible tooth pain in the middle of the night. And I was like, well, I cannot function. I was like sweating. It like hurt so bad.
Yeah.
So my husband took me to the ER and to like basically just to get prescribed some like strong painkillers. was like what I needed because it's like, well, there's no dentist open on the weekend. Like I can't like do anything about this. So they hooked me up. they got me some like nice strong numbing gel for my tooth. What? They gave me lidocaine, I think, for my like the gel, the numbing gel. And then when they asked me to rate my pain, I was like, I'm sitting at about a 5 or 6. Like, I cannot sleep. I cannot really think about much else besides the pain. It sucks. And so they gave me like a shot of something. Don't remember what that was. And then they also gave me oxycodone, which is not this, like, there's stronger things, but like the most I ever take is like an ibuprofen. Like I don't have much aside from like some nasty headaches, which I take Excedrin, which is also basically the same thing as ibuprofen. But so the next day I decide that I'm feeling pretty good on these painkillers, because you do feel kind of like, oh, this is kind of nice. Like
when I was on hydrocodone or whatever we had.
Yeah.
I think I told my boss at Sam's Club that I loved and appreciated them. So
okay, I don't think I was that far gone.
Okay.
I did have a boyfriend, I think, that was on that at one point, and he also told me how lovely and special I was.
Everyone's lovely and special when you're in hydrocodone.
Yes, I think so. Anyway, so I was feeling fantastic compared to like the pain I was in before. I was like, I am never taking being pain-free for granted again. This is amazing. I am loving life. I'm going to make some crawfish etouffee, which is a Cajun dish that involves chopping up a bunch of onions and green peppers. Now, I'm a little bit zooted when I walk into the kitchen. And I think I also sent your wife some Snapchats talking about some like problematic Christian people who were like going through deconstruction or something.
Oh, I heard you talking about that.
Yeah, I'm going to be straight up. I was not all the way there when I was. Everything I said. Yeah, everything I said was coherent, but like mentally, I was like somewhere else a little bit, like just like a little bit foggy.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the experience of like not, because like I don't do drugs, I don't do the weed, I don't do the shrooms, I don't do anything that would like make
you do drink
sometimes, very rarely, not enough to like
a ton.
Do anything. Yeah. Just like the experience of like not being all the way there and having a giant knife and trying to like having to focus
that's
to like cut vegetables. It's just an experience. That's all I'm saying. Like I had to like focus. Like it was hard. Like, and I got like halfway into like preparing this dish and I was like, I made a mistake. Like this is like a little bit too much for me to handle at the moment.
That's good.
I got through it, but with all my fingers intact. But anyway,
I don't think I did anything like that. I think there's been a couple times where I've like maybe on like cold medicine. I can't remember what I was on, but I like cooked. I like went to make something and I'm like, you know what? I'm pulling out all the stops. And I made it for like 12 people for some reason.
What?
I like made fried rice for like 12 people.
Oh my God. Okay.
And I am one person, sometimes two people. So that was a mistake I was living with for a couple days, but yeah, nothing like that. I feel like baking would be a good go-to when you're zooted.
Unless you fall asleep.
Yeah, and then you burn the house down or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not good.
One thing that I did want an update on.
Yes.
Someone mentioned this at some point. I can't remember if Claire mentioned it or if you mentioned it. Your door.
My door.
Your back door.
Oh.
Was it ever resolved?
Yes. Actually, just resolved today.
Okay.
So we had this is so domestic and boring.
That's what this is the filler episode.
So we have a sliding glass back door or whatever. And the lock had been giving us like some trouble for a little while. And my paranoid ass cannot handle not having doors locked. And my husband had been like in
reasonable.
And out. Yeah. My husband had been in and out of the back door for whatever reason that day. And then like after he was done, I was like, oh, I'm going to go lock the door. And I tried to push the lock down and something in the inner workings of the lock decided that they had done their last, whatever they do. And it got stuck and I could not lock the door anymore. And I was like, well, that's great. Because I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. Because I'm like, there's a killer who's going to climb over into my backyard and come in through the back door and slit my throat in the middle of the night. And I told my husband, I was like, I think I broke the lock. He could not get it to work. He was like, oh, okay, guess we have to replace the whole door. And I was like, what? And he was like, well, it's a little drafty over here. And I'm like, but do you know how much doors are so goddamn expensive? Do you know how much a door costs?
They're pretty expensive, yeah.
Like a sliding back door, like a standard sliding back door is like, I think about $2,000. And then to get it installed is like another $1,500. And I was like, I do not want to drop $3,500 on this stupid door.
Yeah.
And so I had to talk him down from that ledge a little bit.
That's probably something to, if you did want to do, probably not like split-second decision do.
No.
I guess.
Yeah.
Is my... Because it's a door. You're going to be living with that thing for a while. You got to spend some research time on the doors if you do want to change it. And then doing research might make you decide you don't want to change it. You need basically like a cool down period, like what they have for purchasing firearms.
Yes, you need to be able to just consider, just think about it a little bit, let it simmer. Mm-hmm. But so the nights where we did not have a lockable door, we found some scraps of wood that we could shove together to make a door jamb. So that's how I slept mostly with peace of mind.
That is, well, I'm sorry for doing this to you, but first of all, the door jamb, way more secure.
Oh yeah. No, I believe that. Yeah.
Like than a crappy lock or whatever, something physically blocking the door. But then also glass door.
Yeah. You just hammer.
Yeah, I know that it's not like great for you to hear, maybe, but
I'm feeling pretty okay. Because I mean, like, you'll hear the glass breaking. Like that's not gonna,
you're afraid of the killer making it their way all the way to you.
Yes,
silent
without me knowing.
Yeah, I guess my I assume you lock your bedroom door.
Yeah, but that's also a point of contention because our cat, our darling little fur baby, likes to go in and out a couple times a night.
Wait. Where's her litter box?
In the bathroom upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like it's outside of her bedroom.
The guest room.
Yes, the guest bathroom, yes.
So do you not like to kick her out all night?
Well, if we do, she will make the door rattle. She will sit out there and run her little paws along the door and cry to be let in with us. Yeah. And at first I was like, okay, then I will set you up with a food dish and water and just put you in the guest bathroom for the night. And that will just be your space for the night. And then my husband was like, well, that's not very nice. We can't do that. And I'm like, well, then she wants in here. She's going to keep making the door rattle. So now we have her sleeping with us most of the night, except for when she wants out for a couple minutes. Like, so, yeah.
I don't think our cat ever did that. Our cat kind of hated everybody, though. So. Okay.
But that being said, do you think it is insane of me to want to sleep with the bedroom door locked?
Oh, yeah. No, that's not insane. I don't get anyone who doesn't. Okay, here's the thing. If I had kids, I might not lock my door.
They can knock. I think I still would. Just because I would not want the experience of rolling over in the middle of the night and opening my eyes and seeing a human face 2 inches from mine.
I did that to my dad all the fucking time.
Yes.
Like he was such a heavy sleeper too. I would go up to him and be like, Dad. I'd be like, Dad. Hey, Dad. Dad? Hey, Dad. And then I'd touch him and then they go, whew, oh. He was never not completely started. I'm like, I really tried to ease you into it. Yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I'd always be like, "Hey, I have a tiny child problem," or whatever.
Hey, I shit the bed again. Like,
you gotta clean it up. Sorry.
Yeah, I threw up, or like
I threw up and shit the bed. Well, I shit my bed, and then I walked over to my brother's bed and threw up in it.
I threw up in it.
And then I pissed on the floor. There's piss and shit everywhere. Apparently, my parents like to tell me this. When I was a little kid, I think they slept with the door open because I was their firstborn.
Yes.
And when I was little, they liked to be able to hear me, I think. I don't know how old I was. Maybe like 5. I don't know. My parents are also neurotic like me. But they like to tell me this story. Apparently, one time I got up in the middle of the night and went to their dresser, like next to their bed, or like their side table or whatever, and just started peeing like it was a toilet. Which is hilarious.
What do you even like? Okay, when you catch a kid in the middle of pissing on something, what do you do? Like, do you let them finish? Do you like try to like grab them and like run them to the toilet? Like, because you're just gonna get piss everywhere. Like, you can't.
I don't know. There's been, and this is not that I've done this in my adult life, but I've done things similar. Like, I'm carrying like a couple dirty clothes, and then I take them to the trash can. I'm like, I meant to go to the laundry hamper. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Or it's like I got like a basket of laundry, and it's like I take them to the dishwasher. And it's like, that's not where I meant to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's basically one step removed from that at that point. You know,
kind of, but I hope there's more like thought process going on. Like, I am really not in front of a toilet right now. Like, before you like let her rip.
You just like hop in the shower and like, oh crap, I meant to water the plants. The right I don't know.
Drain or like place where liquid goes.
Yeah. I want to tell you about one game that I have been playing.
Okay.
It's a game that I've like picked up and put down for like multiple years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Told no one about because I assume no one gives a shit. It's a little game that I like to describe as the perfect marriage between a racing game and Celeste.
Okay.
It is this little series called Trackmania.
I was like, is it going to be that? I think I know what that is.
Yes. Trackmania Turbo specifically is the one that I've been playing.
Okay.
And it's basically like very difficult little races. It's all time trial stuff. And you're just going for gold medals on every track. And they're all like 50 seconds. Occasionally you'll reach a boss battle. This one's like, oh, this is a multi-lap one that's like 2 minutes. Requires 2 minutes of perfection to get through. And that's been my thing. And I've been doing, here's my strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So I wake up. I'm going to let you know my morning routine.
Okay.
I wake up. I go downstairs and I start preheating the oven for my little hash brown patties.
I was going to say, you're baking shit first thing in the morning?
I do my breakfast for like, I always have like a semi-elaborate breakfast.
You are a breakfast boy, people. Yes.
My go-to for a while now, I was done with scrambled eggs for a good bit. I switched over almost completely to like fried eggs or like over medium eggs or something like that. But I've come back to the scramble and I'm loving it. I'm using it basically as a spread on these hash brown patties. So I take it as a nice little spread because I do like a really soft, not very wet, just like barely not wet scramble. And load it up with like cheddar cheese and stuff.
Yeah.
Put it on there. And then I do a little ziblin of sriracha. A little ziblin of sriracha.
I like that. Okay.
So it's about 3 eggs and 3 hash brown patties and then some sriracha ziblin on there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my breakfast of champions. But to achieve this, I have to preheat the oven.
Yes.
which takes about 10 minutes, maybe, to get to 425. So in that 10 minutes, I hop on Trackmania, get a couple runs in, and then I set it, for cook for 10, and then I come back to it. So I got about 20 minutes of Trackmania in the morning.
Yeah.
Because it's just a very convenient, feels like more exciting than just staring at my phone or something. So
yeah. And it's a good pick it up, put it back down type game.
It absolutely is. You can pick it up for 50 seconds, and that's good enough. So because I'm in like, not the later stages, but like I'm in like the medium half of the game, halfway-ish through all the tracks, they're getting kind of difficult for me. So most of the time I hop on there and I spend all my time on pretty much just one track.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll usually end that day being like, nope, can't do it. Wake up the next day, first 2 tries, nope, there's the gold. I did it. And this has pretty much consistently happened every day for this month.
That's how it works, though.
I know. That's just how it works. Your brain needs to sleep on it.
It does. There's like something going on in your subconscious where it's like just like tweaking on it, just like maybe like rehearsing it. I don't know what it is, but yeah, something about sleep. There have been several times at work where like I've had like a coding problem or something that I can't get figured out for whatever reason. Go to sleep, come back to work the next day. I'm like, I got it.
It happens to me at work all the time too.
Yeah.
Where I'm like trying to figure out the flow of an edit and then it just comes together.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I'm at a wall with this thing, and then I come back and it's like every decision I'm making is the right decision now. It's just like, okay. Yeah.
It's a wonderful feeling.
It is. It's almost like we don't need to be spending 8 hours a day at work when the first 5 are the most productive.
Yeah, I wonder who decided that. I actually don't know, but I'm mad at them.
I don't know, but I'm mad at them. How much time is enough? That's what I've been really struggling with recently.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
I'm a commuter right now, so I spend 8 hours at work and I spend about an hour and a half commuting in total. So I'm wasting an hour and a half of my life every day, every week, every month, every year. Totals up to a painful number of hours. And I'm like, I would kill for an extra hour and a half every single day. I am like so regimented with the time that I do have.
Well, yeah,
just to have an extra hour would be so good.
Well, yeah, it sounds like the strat of like I preheat the oven and then I get my game time in, like while you are waiting for breakfast to come together.
Yeah,
is a bit, I don't know, frugal with your time. I guess I don't know how else to say it. Efficient.
Whatever. Sometimes we talk about it on the podcast about how much we hate staring at our phones.
Yes.
And not because we don't do it. We hate it because we do it.
Yeah.
And that's another thing where it's like, I extra hate it because if I see that I have like a high screen time, I'm like, I wasted that time. I could have been doing something more enjoyable. I don't know. There's also some element of like, what do I have the capacity for? And I do get that. But at the same time, I feel like I realized this in college and really tried to like take it to heart. And that is that like decompressing on your phone is not real. Like I don't believe in that.
Not really.
At all.
No.
Because I started trying to meditate in college, and meditation for me was basically just sitting still and letting my brain think about whatever it wanted to. Not trying to think about nothing, just being like, in my head, I'm like imagining I have all these thoughts that need to finish processing before I can continue. Mm-hmm. And that felt way more productive. Like I feel infinitely more refreshed doing that for like 10 minutes than staring at my phone for like an hour or something.
Interesting. Now I want to try that strategy because I feel like what I normally do to myself when I am trying to like decompress or whatever is like silence my brain altogether and be like, no thoughts.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that's the problem.
And I think that's the wrong way. Oh.
Yeah, I don't think that thoughts are the problem. I think not giving yourself time to think about it. I feel like looking at your phone is almost like plugging what needs to happen. It's like constipating yourself. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
like
I
the thoughts
agree.
need to come out.
Yeah.
They need to be thoughted.
Yeah, I have tried. I think I might have talked about this on a previous episode, and if so, my bad. But yeah, I've tried to like eliminate apps off my phone that were that I was prone to scrolling on.
Mm.
And I think excuse me, I think I've pretty much eliminated most scrolling. Still the YouTube comments a little bit though, not gonna lie.
I'm surprised that YouTube comments have gotten you. Those kind of get me. For a long time, I would look for news like NBC, ABC, anything that's controversial and attracts a wide audience of stupid people. That was my go-to all the time. I'm like, oh, this thing is slightly political, slightly left or right leaning. I'm going to click on it. Just go to the comments. I don't care what the video is about. I just want to see people just say the dumbest, most basic shit imaginable. That's what I want.
Oh, see, what I do is, so most of the comments that I scroll through are either people being like, hee hee, and then quoting a funny thing that happened in the video, like word for word.
Yeah.
With nothing added to it.
I hate that.
It is a little pointless. But it does.
I hate that I like that
I do
too.
see it.
I look for
I do
it.
see it and I go like, hee. Like,
I was like, yeah, I
them.
found that funny too.
Yeah.
I also found the joke funny.
Yeah. And also, like, other videos I watch are about, like, I don't know how to say it, like, deep topics. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I watch discussions about, like, certain ideas, like Christian deconstruction content.
Yeah.
And stuff like about feminism. I don't know. I don't want to sound like
feminism.
Yeah. I don't know. Or like thought-provoking stuff. And then I like to go in the comments and then read, because a lot of people will like share that like certain experiences. Like, oh, like this really spoke to me because I had like blah 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 experience, and then sometimes I find like solidarity in that. And so maybe it's like an echo chamber thing. I don't know. But I'm just like in there, I'm just being nosy. And like whatever. It's kind of pointless, but like
Am I evil for thinking this? Because whenever I see people who like do that, they're like, hop on, oh, this is really meaningful for me because blah 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 personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
I would see those and then I think, why don't I just do this? Just hop on there and be like, oh, this is really helpful for me because, like, you know, my dad died and left me alone and I had to raise my siblings and stuff like that. It's just like a creative writing exercise.
No, that's not what that's about. I mean, you could. You would get sympathy, but like that you don't need, I guess.
No, I'm not doing it for sympathy. I'm just doing it just because.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I guess. And I guess they could be like lying. I don't know why. But like what clout comes from like. Also, another thing that I see that I'm so confused about is people who make a comment that gets a tons of likes, and there's always like edit like, wow, thanks for like all the likes, guys. And it's
thanks
like,
for all the likes.
What clout comes from this?
Yes,
like,
I know.
There's no, aside from like monkey brain C number go up, ooh, like there's no like, you're not getting anything out of this. Like no one is gonna see you on the street and be like, you left that comment on that video. That was such a good fucking comment. Like no one cares. No one does that. You don't have to edit your comment and be like, thanks. Like just zip it.
I agree with you 100%. I'm so glad you brought this up. I will say I have done this at least once.
I would probably do it too. Just speak straight up. Like there's like some like need in me to like
listen. The first time it gets a lot of likes, you got to be like, "Oh, everyone, look at me! I did it," or something like that. I don't know what it is. Regardless, it is hilarious. Every time I see it, my gut reaction is, "This person is under like 15 years old or something. Like this person must be a child." I also love when it is not worthy of praise. Like when your comment is like quoting the punchline or something like that.
Quoting the punchline, or like the most, like it's like a meme template and you just plug the right words into it.
Yes.
And it's like, I mean, like, yeah, like it's like like you had to do some thinking to get there, some creativity to get there.
Even less thinking than that is whenever like a specific, I notice this a lot with YouTube shorts, where it would be a creator who makes like a variety of similar videos or something like that. And there's like a joke that can be applied to his entire body of content. and you just like go to any comment section, you will see that joke. And the first time you see it, it's like, oh, that's kind of funny. That's original. That's a good little quip there. And then you see it again and it's like, that wasn't original, was it?
We're all just stealing. You're all just plagiarizing.
Blatant plagiarism.
Blatant plagiarism. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say that, like, I have a project, I guess you could say, that I have been working on that is not affiliated with anything else with this, like, podcast. Like, it is like its own separate project. It's just like my little thing. And sometimes I get like a lot of nice comments on it. Well, not like a lot, but like there have been a decent amount of like nice comments. And every time like I see like number go up or I see someone say something nice, I feel the need to like respond to it. So maybe I'm like, well, maybe these people aren't so dumb for like editing the comment and be like, wow, like thanks for like the likes, guys. But also I'm thinking about like that thing that I'm responding to the comments on is a thing that I made.
Yeah.
Versus you were in the comments section of someone else's video. Like the creator of the video put in way more work than you making your comment. So it's do you see what I mean? Like it's just like a little weird.
It is.
I think it's very human.
It is,
but I think
human.
it's also
That's
a little
the
weird.
Thing. Yeah, it's like it's.
I'm not blaming anybody. Yeah.
It's not surprising. It's strange.
It is a little strange.
You know. One of the things, and I know I'm going to bring this up. I know that I was going to say don't care. Maybe that's too strong.
Okay.
You don't watch One Piece. You don't read One Piece. No. You don't do anything with One Piece. You operate on multiple pieces, and that's fine. While assembling my cart, I haven't shown you any pictures, but I did reorganize it. I simplified it.
Of course you did.
I slimmed it down.
Of course you did.
It's very
minimalist
nice
ass.
It's got a lot of very. My phone is on 3%.
Oh God!
I was gonna send you a picture, but that's fine. It's not. It's just got some very nice thick cable runs. Everything's very straight. A lot of right angles. Not right angles. I'm not trying to break any of my cables here. But very curved, directional things. It's very clean. It's on a wire cart, and there's a lot of cables, so it is a challenge. And I'm always amped to take on that challenge. Let me tell you, I'm very excited. Right now we got the PS2, the PS3, the SNES, 64, GameCube, and the Wii, a VHS and DVD player. So
damn,
I've got them nicely organized. I got 3 tiers for the consoles and media players or whatever. I have a blank space for the PS1, but it's going to go PS1, PS2, PS3. I wanted everything to be in chronological order on the shelf and also very dedicated to the specific console manufacturer.
Yeah.
And then tier 2, got a blank space for the NES, Super Nintendo, 64, GameCube, Wii. DVD player, or VHS player, DVD player, blank space for the Blu-ray player. Everything's in order. It's very nice. It's cool. Most of these consoles are modded so that I can load as many games onto them as I want. It's great. What was I going to say? I remember now. I was watching One Piece. I got so distracted.
Your love of cable management overrode the topic.
It really did. I was on the background. This was basically my project for the weekend. I was very excited to tackle it, but I was watching One Piece, the live action Netflix One Piece.
Okay.
Expecting it to be bad. I watched like 5 seconds of it and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty rough. But I gotta say, I watched it. It's basically a truncated version of like the first collection of arcs. Like the arcs are kind of broken up into like various buckets. And this is like the East Blue saga, I guess. And it's basically just like a very truncated 8-episode retelling of that. And they took a lot of liberties with just like how they told the story, what characters were there, what characters weren't, and just like where main events take place. And it was like kind of clever. I'm like, you know what? This works. Like, I don't mind some of the extreme liberties you're taking with like just removing some main characters, making some main characters stay on for longer or do whatever. It was kind of cool. I kind of was watching it the whole time being like, you know what? I like this because I'm viewing it as like almost like a fan project. Like it feels kind of like loving towards One Piece. And I'm like, oh, it's cool. And I was like, you know what? I'm just here for the moments, you know? Like I'm here to see this moment, this moment, this moment in like live action, big budget-y sort of ways.
Yeah.
And from that perspective, perfectly fun. I don't know if you're interested in it. Not you. I'm talking to the proverbial audience you. If you're interested, I don't know if this is like the way to get into One Piece. That feels a little insane to me. But it's fun to like see that story retold differently and stuff like that. I love that. I love it for The Walking Dead. I love it for this as well. I gotta say, it's also fun having no idea what anyone else thinks about this. Because I also don't really care that much. I assume there's things that the internet would not like. I don't know if like people are hating on this or what. I know people hate on live action adaptations of anime shows in general.
I'm one of them.
They're a little like unnecessary. I don't think this was necessary in any way. I just kind of viewed it as like fun. I'm like, oh yeah, it's like, it's cool to see, I don't know, Buggy in live action. I don't know. It's cool to see like all these like events, these fights and stuff happen how they do. And they like, I don't know, it's cool. It was big budget. And occasionally you're like, oh, this is kind of working. You know, I'm surprised how well this is working. And then you see some like big fat butler dude in like a Batman mask and like kitten claw gloves come at you in spandex. And I'm like, oh, I forgot this was an anime. Yes. Oh man, this motherfucker showed up and I completely was taken out of the moment.
Yep.
But aside from that, pretty cool. There's like it. I don't know. It feels like I'm just like watching like really cool, like cosplay adaptations act out scenes, and that's kind of cool.
Kind of fun. Yeah.
I don't know. Like the casting for some of this stuff was like really awesome. I thought like, man, this is exactly what like a live action this version of this character would look like.
Okay. Well, so we're providing both updates about One Piece and Naruto at the same time, I guess. Now.
For our PlayStation
so Naruto
podcast.
Time. Yeah. So where I am at is I have gotten to the point in Shippuden where I've been watching it with my husband on Hulu in English.
Okay.
And we are at the point where they have not released the English dub yet on Hulu.
Oh, on Hulu.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought
the English dub exists.
Yeah.
It's just not on Hulu yet. And I don't know if it's anywhere else. I don't think it's on Crunchyroll either. So we're just sort of like, yeah.
Have
so
you
if we want to keep watching,
unsavory means?
I've also been busy. I've been doing other things.
That's fine.
Like it hasn't been on my priority list. I'm not too. And I have some qualms.
I have some qualms. Some qualms
with the writing and everything that's been happening where I'm at.
Okay.
I won't spoil anything. I would just like to say that I would still love to throw down for my girl Sakura on her behalf because she is fucking jilted by the whole goddamn show. Repeatedly. It's humiliating.
It's like the Bernie Sanders of Naruto.
I'm still mad. Anyway. So that's where I'm at. We're just kind of like waiting for the English episodes to come out in a decent chunk because I think the last big chunk they released was like 10 episodes at a time and it was all filler. And I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, no more filler. Get this bullshit out of here. I just want the core plot. and I want to see what goes down. I kind of know what goes down already, but like I need to see it. You know, I need to. Yeah.
How do you know? Do you know just through osmosis, being on the internet?
I know it through fan fiction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, through Sage
That's fair.
explaining things to me years ago. Yeah. Sage spoiling things for me years ago because he was like, "You don't care. You're never going to watch this." And now here I am.
Here I am.
And then also fan fiction. Some of the most beautifully written fan fiction I've ever read.
Is smut.
Anyway.
Okay. Oh.
No. But yeah. And then my only other update, I think in the episode where we had a question that was like, "Oh, what you guys watch Naruto, what other anime do you watch?" I said that I was watching Psycho Pass. I got so mad that I dropped it. There was something so phenomenally stupid that the main character does where I was like, this is beyond me. I can't handle this. I'm sorry. I have to leave. You're probably never going to watch Psycho Pass.
I don't know if I will, honestly. I don't know if I'll do anything anymore because I don't have time, but go ahead.
So if anyone is like, "Oh, maybe I want to watch Psycho Pass," please gracefully bow out just for a second. Okay.
Maybe skip like a minute.
Yeah. It might be a little bit longer than a minute. So in the world of Psycho Pass, you have it's called Psycho Pass because everyone is constantly psychologically evaluated by these computer systems that determine their risk of committing crime. And so if your Psycho Pass rating gets too high, then you are like arrested basically and either put through like a rehabilitation program or like imprisoned because you're like a danger to society. Like they don't let you even get to the point where you're going to commit a crime. Your score is too high. Bam, jail. So the cops in Psycho Pass have these guns that will not activate until someone's score is at a certain level. And they have like, if their Psycho Pass is too high, the guns become lethal. If the score is low enough, it just works as like a stun gun. Or if there's no score, you can't use it on the person. So it's like a built-in protection measure. Anyway. Okay. So the villain does not trigger the Psycho Pass score. So despite him being an evil, crazy sociopath or whatever, his score remains very low. And he is holding the main character's best friend hostage. And he is like, "Okay, you have your cop gun with the Psycho Pass reader, and you have a shotgun, like an actual gun that you can shoot me with. If you do not shoot me with the shotgun, I am going to slit your friend's throat." And Miss Main character girl, watching her best friend about to die, about to be killed by an obviously evil man, repeatedly points her Psycho Pass gun at the villain and is like, "His Psycho Pass score isn't high enough. I can't use the gun. What do I do?" And then she raises the shotgun without really aiming it and just like hit fires it twice and gets rid of all the ammo and then just stands there and is like begging her Psycho Pass gun to work. And then he slits the friend's throat and she dies. And I'm like, are you fucking dumb? Are you dumb? It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And I know that it's like, the point is like, oh, maybe we shouldn't always rely on the Psycho Pass gun. Like, I understand what we're getting at. But it's like, Miss Girl, you had the shotgun. Okay, you know how to aim guns. Why didn't you drop this stupid Psycho Pass gun and like use the shotgun properly? Are you fucking dumb? And now your best friend is dead and you're all sad about it. It's like, well, bitch, maybe we should have done better. Like, I don't know why this makes me so mad.
Man.
But it does. And I was like, I can't. I'm sorry, I have to take a break. And I haven't picked it up since.
Okay. Well, that ends the spoiler section. I have to ask.
Yes.
I saw a video a while ago that was like, the problem with anime is women. Like, women are always written poorly and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, they kind of are a little bit. But like... It's not women.
I know it's not women. That's just the inflammatory title or whatever.
Yeah.
But it did make me wonder. I gotta be honest, like, One Piece is like, I know One Piece has this thing where it like at some point becomes very fan servicey.
Okay.
And I believe that that's like chapter 500 or something, there's like, I don't know if this is a spoiler. I know there's a time skip that happens. And once that happens, like, I think across the board, men and women, every character gets a lot hotter.
Okay.
But that hasn't happened yet. And for the most part, things have been like really tame. Like, Nami still has her goddamn shirt on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which it's very fine, but it is still very like boy heavy. You know, it's like, Nami's like a fine, good character. She's actually probably currently, I would say, one of the more well-written like female characters, I guess. Same with the other like female characters that sometimes show up. Everyone's kind of stupid in the show. Like, Luffy's a fucking idiot, so it's like everyone's a little silly. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have like a good example of like, I don't know, like a female character that's like cool?
Damn, that's hard. Like in anime?
In anime, yeah.
Fuck. That's hard.
What about
that's
like
really
Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Gets a little weird.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck up her name. Misato? I think that's her name.
Can you name them by hair color?
Well, she's an adult. I do like her.
Purple hair, right?
And I like the blonde scientist lady. They do end up having some weird things going on with them where I'm like, what? Gets a little weird. As far as, I mean, like in Final Fantasy, there's female characters that I like. I like Lightning. I like her sister Sarah. I like Fang and Vanille. And I like the girlies from Final Fantasy X very much. You know what? We're going to circle back around to Final Fantasy VII Remake for a second. Everyone is too fucking horny for Cloud. It's a little uncomfortable how horny everyone is for Cloud.
Because you get to like choose, right?
Yeah, you do get to choose. And you know what? That's another thing that kind of gets on my nerves with anime a little bit, or I guess a specific subgenre, is the ones where it's like, here's this dude who has like no riz, he has no qualifications, he has no fucking appeal whatsoever, and all of these women around him are like fumbling over their big titties trying to get in and get some of that action. And I'm like, I know this is wish fulfillment. Like, I know that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
But also, like,
it's also just a documentary on my life, really. I mean, that's
but I'm also like, as a woman, I cannot watch them and like I cannot appreciate
can't
like
relate
anything
to
about
them
because can't relate, can't handle it. It takes me out of the story every time because it's immersion breaking.
Yeah, it is.
Frankly, because it's like, these are not characters. These are sentient sex dolls who all want to bang you. That's a good way to describe them. Yeah.
I feel like the sexuality thing is the first thing that comes to mind whenever we're talking about why they're kind of not done any justice in anime. Because there's a lot of over-sexualization in a lot of anime. It's a pretty common theme, I guess. But yes. I gotta say that like I feel like the presence of it is not necessarily the problem, and
it's a symptom.
It's a symptom. It can be it could be pitched as a more like empowering characteristic, I suppose, depending on its implementation.
Yes.
If it is just like meant to be like an ugly thing for the viewer, then I feel like that's not so much what I'm going for. I'm more going for like, I guess like Bayonetta and stuff where it's like, granted, have not played them, could be completely wrong. But my always outside perception was that like people liked Bayonetta and were like kind of viewed her as being empowered by like her like, I don't know, sexual whatever. Because she's not like a weak character. I don't know. Maybe I'm coming at this a little wrong. Like maybe Bayonetta.
It's weird. Well, I guess I would ask like what do you mean by a weak character? Or like or what are we talking about here? Like does she have an arc that has meaning? does she have some sort of conflict that is central to her and not like, so like a problem that I have with anime, I guess in general, and also that I have witnessed that has been so egregious in like Naruto is like the sexualization thing. And also every woman's narrative has to revolve around some man in her life. Like there is nothing that is like her own. Like Hinata struggles with, like self-confidence and, I don't know, I guess like coming out of her shell and like standing on her own strength or whatever. And her inspiration for that is not any of her own merits or her own accomplishments. It is Naruto as an inspiration, which is just fucking like, come on. And like Sakura being obsessed with Sasuke, Tsunade to a lesser extent being like, oh, it was because my fiance that died and my little brother, and that's why I have to do what I do, which is like a bit, I think it's a step above the others, but it's still just like really bad. So like, I guess, is Bayonetta like, is she her own person?
She's, I think, definitely her own person. And it's weird because we're talking about fictional characters, but her chosen outward presence feels much more like a choice to that character rather than some weird shoehorn thing where it's like, oh, she has to wear some like revealing outfit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Necessarily. I don't know. It's like a half-cocked point, but.
Okay. And how do we feel, for example, like Lulu in Final Fantasy X?
That is, I think, the opposite of what I'm going. That feels like the antithesis to Bayonetta in some way.
Like if Lulu was picking her outfit and it wasn't a horny designer.
Well,
Lulu would not dress like that.
I feel like Bayonetta being sexual is like part of her character and in some ways is empowering to her. I believe, outside looking in.
Yes.
Whereas Lulu, it's completely irrelevant to who she is.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. She doesn't need to be looking like that. It doesn't.
There's nothing
doesn't
about
mean anything.
Lulu's personality does not suggest. If anything, I would say it suggests the opposite. She's very like closed off.
Yeah.
And like standoffish. Like, but hey, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not in her brain, in her fictional character brain. I didn't write her. I guess I don't know.
No. Yeah.
But yeah.
Evangelion, not Amazing Women. Because I'm only one episode in at this point, and I gotta be honest, didn't grab me. But at the same time, I'm like 20 minutes in, so I'm not really considering that a fair investment.
You gotta let it simmer a bit.
I know it gets weird, right? Like it gets
weird.
That's kind of cool. Right now, I'm watching it. I have them downloaded because I own them legally. And I put them on a USB stick.
Yeah, legally, yeah.
Which is legal. I own them. I downloaded them from the discs that I own. And I put them on a USB stick and I play them through my PS3 so I can watch them on my CRT. And I gotta say, looks really good.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, I do like the art style.
Yeah,
a lot. And I like the cinematography. I have a lot of respect for a lot of that in Evangelion. I'm trying to think about, I mean, like, so the story is so central to Shinji most of the time. And there's some scenes that I'm thinking about that do piss me off. But also, like, it does have a point, narratively speaking. Like, it is not the way it is just for the sake. Like, there is something that is being said underneath it. So I don't know.
Well, I gotta say, one episode in, it does feel like that wish fulfillment thing you just mentioned of
where it's like all these hot women.
Yeah. Which is like, whatever. It's like, why does the boy need to be here? I mean, I'm sure there's a reason.
Honestly, why does the boy need to be there? I mean, if you want to watch like hot women, do you need
like the fish out of water character to relate to? Can you not just be dropped in? I don't know.
Yeah, why can't it be hot women doing hot girl shit?
Yeah.
Like
talking about their feelings and...
Yeah.
What else do women do? My wife likes to read and eat gelato. That's her thing right now.
Make sandwiches.
Eat
gelato?
Yeah. Aldi gelato. is like a life hack.
So I've heard.
Life hack is a dumb way to describe that, but
Yeah. It's all right.
all right.
So I don't know how much longer you wanted to go, but I did find some of our questions.
Oh.
Do you want to do those?
Yeah, let's
do you
do
want to do some?
Let's try to stop before 2 hours, but yeah.
Okay. I know which one I want to ask. Okay. You have to live inside a PS2 game we've reviewed for a year. Which one is it going to be?
Let me pull up the Spotify.
Yeah.
Now, if I choose Kingdom Hearts, do I get to pick the world?
Well, I don't know, because you do run the risk of it being devoured by darkness.
I assume we're not necessarily operating on game rules. Like, I don't get to respawn.
Oh, yeah, like permadeath.
Permadeath.
Yeah.
So,
and it's just you as you are.
My first thought was SSX tricky, and then I'm like, I'm going to die on the first slope. Like, Scalar, that's a no-go. Oni,
no.
That's a no-go.
We would be murdered.
Yes. Tulip would be annoying as shit. Imagine trying to take your garbage out and there's a man in there.
Yeah.
Kissing you.
Or the vampire doctor wandering around sucking your blood out.
Yeah, I would be afraid to leave my house. I would just go to bed.
Or the cop. Yeah.
Yes. ATV Off-Road Fury, again, would probably die right away.
Yeah. Haunted Ground? Fuck no.
No. I suppose I could go to ATV Off-Road Fury and then just like take stuff. I could take it slow, you know? Yeah,
you could. Yeah, no one said you had to win all the races.
I'm just trying to stay alive.
Yeah, just cruising.
Call of Duty Finest Hour. Do I want to live in World War II? No. That's okay. TMNT? I don't know. Hogwarts? Dangerous, but whimsical.
Yeah. There are ghosts. Ghosts do exist.
They
and
do
giant ogres.
Yeah, but like everything usually works out. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you're not fucking around, like going to places you shouldn't be.
Yeah, I guess you don't have to leave.
Yeah, you can just follow the rules.
The school building. Yeah. Yeah, you could just follow the rules and have like a peaceful time.
Theoretically, it'd be okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold on to that one. That might be the might be the one to go to. Resident Evil 4.
Final Fantasy X? No.
Not cool.
Sorry. It's a no for me. That would...
No.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, no. Sorry, we cut out there. But you said Final Fantasy X. I said Resident Evil 4. I was just working my way up the list.
Both of those are a no.
Both of those are absolutely no. Yeah, it'd be fucked up to live in Final Fantasy X. Like, you've got like Blitzball and that's about it.
And a giant whale monster that hates you.
And
hates everybody.
Might kill everything you know.
Right.
That's not great. Maybe Dreams Anarchin would be all right.
Yeah.
Until you're dead, though, at that point. You're already dead.
Yeah.
You don't exist.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Battlefront. Just want to be a nameless soldier on a battlefield. Star Wars Battlefront.
Die 2 seconds in.
Yeah. Although if...
Now, hear me out.
No,
sorry, go ahead.
Now, hear me out. I was going to say, if the AI is as stupid as it is in Battlefront, then I think you might be all right.
Yeah. Now, I was going to say, Jak and Daxter, but you don't have to leave the starting village.
It's all right there. You know?
Yeah. It is okay.
It's cool.
I guess with Kingdom Hearts, do you get to stay at Destiny Islands or does it get swallowed up?
I don't. It doesn't seem like it's in good shape whenever you return.
Yeah. I think the threat of the Heartless is a bit too much for me to say yes to that one.
Yeah. I'd have to agree. Sonic Heroes, fucking shoot me.
No. Yeah.
Crash.
Sly Cooper.
No. Sly Cooper, I skipped that one. You're right. Not a lot of good places to live in the first one. Can I hang out in the van with the boys?
I guess.
You guys need another Bentley that's not as good?
A shittier Bentley who can't do any of the things Bentley can do?
I have a feeling that Bentley might need a wheelchair in the future. I could be the guy who pushes him around.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Just saying.
I am a little tempted to say Sly Cooper on the grounds that, I would hang out in the van. The van does have some crazy experiences, but nothing bad happens to it.
Yeah, it's usually okay.
It's okay in there.
You might get roughed up whenever some stuff in Sly 2 happens whenever the band gets kind of, disassembled a little bit,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's okay.
What about Naruto Uzumaki Chronicles, but you just stay in the village? That would be kind of fun. I feel like I would get murdered.
Now, obviously I am me, but do the rules of the world apply to me?
Where you can practice jutsu?
Yeah.
I kind of want to say yes, that you can do that. Because I want to go there and do that.
I guess that's true about Harry Potter. Like, can I practice spells?
Can you practice magic? I don't know.
I guess I would be a muggle, though. Most likely.
Yeah, but you would be at Hogwarts.
Yeah, I guess
you would have to help, like, Filch.
Yeah, I guess. I don't even know. Maybe they just send me home, which would just be like normal life.
Okay. Yeah,
Which would be fine. I guess they do sometimes get murdered by, like, Voldemort's people and stuff, but, I wouldn't know any better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Naruto.
I want to say Naruto if the rules apply to me. And then I guess if they don't, then I'll chill in this, like, Cooper van, because I think I would have fun with them.
We could become rivals in Naruto.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be red or blue? Because or are you going to be the warm color palette or the cool color palette?
Now, you're the artist. Which one of these is the correct answer for me and you?
Oh, God, I don't know. Jeez. We're too similar.
Yeah.
I think. Like, personality-wise, like, we're both relatively easygoing. I don't know if I would say happy-go-lucky, but pretty positive.
I'm going to say that I'm warm and you're cool.
Okay.
Because you're edgier.
Okay.
At least you want to be. At least you want to be. That's what I can say.
No. I feel like my soul is being looked into a little bit. I'm a little uncomfortable. Kakashi's there. I have to go ahead and be Naruto because Kakashi's there.
Is Kakashi? Is there any better man crush for you in all of anime than Kakashi? Please keep ages in mind.
Like video games. What?
I said please keep ages in mind.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't. Kakashi, I think as of Shippuden, is my age. Or no, he's a couple years older than me, I think. Maybe.
Okay.
See, 26 or 28.
I was going to say that sounds weird, but I guess that does sound right.
But if, as I get older than Kakashi, I could be like, well, Kakashi and Boruto, who's like 40-something. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think he is my favorite man.
He's your muse.
My favorite messed up little man.
Yeah. Is he messed up?
Yeah, he's a little messed up, actually.
I guess he's a little sadistic.
You don't find out, like, his backstory stuff until Shippuden, really.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you do, you're like, oh. Poor guy.
Mm-hmm. I would try to find Rock Lee and
get your limbs broken by his punches?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
I just love Rock Lee. How many people do you think Rock Lee has inspired in real life?
I do see there was a period of time, and I couldn't send them to you because I was like, if I send this to him, the algorithm is going to pick up on it and it's going to put Naruto spoilers in his feed. So, but I have seen like motivational, like either like compilation of Naruto characters giving you like a pep talk or like workout motivation or something, or like the most motivating moments in anime that all feature like Rock Lee in some capacity. Yeah.
I was out running today, and I was getting a little winded, and I said, I'm going to let this next song determine my tempo. And it was the fucking Naruto battle music. I'm like, well, shit.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
You gotta go.
But yeah. I think that's enough for this beach episode.
Okay. Hopefully you've learned a bit about us, who we are as characters. Because that's what the beach episodes are really for.
Yes. I'm going to deploy these beach episodes as needed because I'm just struggling to have enough time for everything right now. So
that is okay.
We'll see. We might have some episodes where I didn't finish the game, and that just might have to be how it is. But yeah, I have a closing, I think.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Please support the podcast by leaving a review or rating, subscribe or follow to stay up to date with what we're playing or not playing, and share this show with a friend or something. I feel like that didn't have the right energy. I didn't roll into it correctly. I'll get there eventually. We're only 3 years in.
Okay.
Yeah, you can write in with questions, comments, or feedback, PS2 game recommendations, dating advice, or whatever the other things we sometimes ask for are at analogschtickmail@gmail.com, or leave a comment on YouTube or Spotify. Until next time, goodbye. If we do play a game next month, it's gonna be Neopets. Goodbye.
Goodbye.